Welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight, brought to you by Crimson Cloak Publishing, the earth-friendly publisher with books for both adults and children in a wide variety of genres, available in paperback and hardcover, as ebooks, and with some audiobooks as well. In the Spotlight is a wide-ranging weekly interview show with authors, entrepreneurs, professionals, and other experts. Your host is Cynthia McGregor. Opinions and views expressed by the guests or hosts on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions and views of the creator, Crimson Cloak Radio, the network, the hosts, or sponsors. And now, here's Cynthia.
Thank you very much, Carly McCracken, and everybody. Welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight. Now, you may notice that I have listed mystery guest as my first guest. I'll tell you the story behind that. I had a guest scheduled. I won't mention names. I don't want to be derogatory. But 20 minutes before the show was due to go on the air, he bailed on me. He said he couldn't do it. And I said, oh my God, am I going to have to do 30 minutes on my own without a guest till my next guest comes on? And I flailed around, desperate to find somebody who could fill in at the last minute, and I got one. But I didn't have time to fill her name in. Sangamitra, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Sangamitra Dasgupta?
Yes, you are pronouncing it correct. That is Sangamitra Dasgupta.
Thank you. Sangamitra is a very talented artist who has illustrated books not only for Crimson Cloak, whose show this is, but for other publishers as well. And since she came on the air without a chance to send me questions to ask her or a biography of her, we're going to really be winging it this half hour. Sangamitra, why don't you start by filling in our listeners a little about yourself, what country you live in, what you've been doing, how long you've been doing art, and all that other good stuff. The show is yours now. Take it away.
Yeah, hi guys. This is Sangamitra Dasgupta. I live actually in India, and it's the opposite direction of US, but I always prefer to work with the US clients, as Mrs. Cynthia McGregor told you all. I have started my illustrations from the age of 5, and on the very beginning, I just do some school magazines, some local magazines work. And I finished my graduation, and after that I tried to take one professional certificate, because that is the main thing in illustration field. If you doesn't have any professional certificate, no one will give you perfect work in the very beginning. So I took a professional course, and after that I have worked with some graphic designing companies as well. But illustration is like my life. So I came back to the illustration field, and I have illustrated more than 300 books. I have already illustrated 300 stories for one company, which is called Neve Magazine, and that is from India. And I have illustrated almost 100 books worldwide. So yeah, it is a long journey from my side.
And Sangamitra, how did you find Crimson Cloak?
Yeah, I was just searching 2017 after leaving my job from a school as a school teacher. And then I was searching Facebook, and I have seen some Crimson Cloak post as a normal they are coming in your news feed and as like that. So I contacted Mrs. Veronica, and she's today not with us right now. So I contacted with her and sent her some of my previous work, and she said, okay, we will talk, and I will let you know that if we are ready to work with you. And within 1 or 2 days, I got a message from her that they are ready to work with me. And my very first work with Crimson Cloak is for Cynthia McGregor's book, which is called Don't Call Me a Dinosaur. It was back in 2018, I think. 2017 or 2018. Yeah.
18, I think, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was your first book with Crimson Cloak? No. You
Yes,
have
that
got.
yes, that was my first book with Crimson Clone, and after that I did there are so many books, and some of them are currently ongoing. I did 3 books for Mrs. Cindy Goodall, and I have done other books for Crimson Cloak, and the books which are out now is like Gimli the Goblin, Grandpa Moon, I Wish I Could Trade My Parents, which is also Mrs. McGregor's another book, A Little Wave, and your another book, Mrs. Claus, Princess Jellybean Part 2, Scary Ghost, The Adventures of Princess Jellybean, Thunder Town, Wiggins the Lonely Mailbox, and there are some more.
And I'm sorry, I'm just getting a message from the person who was supposed to be on. No, that's not from him. I don't know who that is writing me. Okay. Um. Well, anyhow, Sangamitra, you draw in you do your art in different styles. Is it watercolor? Is it computer generated? What format do you use?
Well, I do both, like hand drawing, hand color, watercolor, and digital also, because there is one publisher who is from India. She asked me to do the handmade colors, handmade illustrations. So, and those were like the mythological characters of India. So I did them with watercolor and the Copic marker and send it to her. And there are some others, the publishers, who always prefer to, like, because it is far away, so it is always like for us to do the digital artwork. But I always try to ask them which style they prefer, and if they have any particular style for these things and all. So I did according to their choice.
Yes, when you illustrated for me the boy who didn't believe in Santa, you used at
Mhm.
first colors that were not vivid, and when we asked you to make the colors more vivid, you did. You were very
Yes,
agreeable and very easy to work with.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. And you said you were a school teacher before. Did I understand
Yeah,
you correctly?
yeah. I taught at a school for about like 6 7 months, and then I left the job and back to illustration work. I was doing illustration with the school teaching, but I preferred the full time illustration, so I left the job.
Uh, you were teaching what grade or what subject?
I was teaching in the lower classes. I was teaching the social studies and the other topic and computer, and for the upper grades, I was like their art teacher.
Aha. And
Yeah.
you like doing artwork much better, I take it, than you like teaching.
Yes, I prefer artwork mostly.
And you plan to make this your life's work.
Yes. I just love to do the work. So I prefer to work from morning till midnight. So it's like a whole day and keeping myself busy in all kinds of work.
Tell,
And all those are artworks only.
Tell me, Sangamitra, it seems to me that when we are talking about the time difference between here
Hmm.
and where you are, there is a half hour involved. It's not just like from 7 to 8 or 7 to 5 to 12 or 1 to 5. There is a half hour difference. How do you account for that?
No, it's like 11:40 p.m. here.
Aha, and it's 2:09 here. So there is
Okay.
a half hour. It's not an even number of hours, it's a half hour difference.
Yes. It's a long difference, but I always try to make like adjustment with my clients, with my publishers, so that it will be easy for us to get connected, and if they need any changes or if they want to add something, they can ask for that.
And what publishers besides Crimson Cloak and Acute by Design have you worked for?
Yeah, I'm working basically with four publishers right now. One is Crimson Cloak, one is Acute, one is Pennant Publications, and one is Carmedia Works. The first three are from US, but Carmedia Works, they are from United Kingdom.
And are you planning to look for other additional publishers to work for?
Yeah. Currently, I'm gonna join. Basically, I am working with them. This is another publisher of a country, and we are on the like finalizing the logo, because they are completely new and they want me to do their logo also. So I did the logo and they want some changes. And recently they have got their license and all the things. And I think hopefully by the next month they are going to launch, and I'm gonna their illustrator. And oh yeah, I by the way I forgot to mention, I work with another publication house which is called Rhonda Watts Publication, if I'm not wrong.
You're a very busy woman, Sangamitra.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sangamitra, do you have a family, may I ask? Do you have a...
Yeah, I have family because I live with my parents, me, my mom, and then my dad, and I have two pets. That's all.
No kids?
No, I'm happily single.
Well, you can be happily single and still have kids. That is
And
possible.
yeah. But I prefer to make myself busy only in work because my focus is always on work right now.
Aha. Well, I can relate to that. I kind of work long hours, 7 days a week myself, so I can.
Yeah.
I
Even
can.
I know that we have talked earlier because we both work on Sundays also.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Saturdays. I do take.
Yeah.
I
Every day.
do take time off for church Sunday morning, but otherwise, I work before I leave for church, and I work when I get home. And somebody is calling me on the phone, and they're not going to be able to get me. So
Yeah.
whoever it is going to have to wait. So Sangamitra, tell me something more about how you got involved in doing art at age 5.
Well, I was like when I was aged 3 or 4. My father saw my interest in art, so he sent me to a local art school, and after that he put a home tutor for me, and from there my interest towards art like always growing up. So and I remember my funny days when I was in college. I always sit on the last bench and I make our professors sketch caricatures, especially our cartoons, and we were like having fun with that. But I always try to make the life sketch in the classes rather than attention to the study.
And Sangamitra, what is your favorite topic? Do you like best to draw animals or nature or people or what?
No, I doesn't have any specific topic. I always love to try new things. If there is any different style or different topic, my publisher or independent author wants me to do that. I am happily open for do that.
Now, did you? I know you mentioned that you did Cindy Goudot's book. Did you do both of her Princess Jellybean books or only one?
Yes,
Both?
yes. No. I did Princess Jellybean Part 1 and the recent one which got released this 11th, Princess Jellybean Mama's Map. And I also did her another book which is called Grandpa Moon.
Grandpa Moon.
Yeah.
Okay. And are all of these out?
Yes, all the 3 books are out now.
Okay. I am having Cindy on the show. I forget the date, but it's upcoming. I just booked her recently. So she is coming on the show soon to talk about Mama's Map. And so
Wow.
I'm sure she'll be talking about you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will be very much fun to do the artwork for her book
Cindy,
because she
Sangami,
was so excited,
yeah.
and she recently she asked me to do a sticker with the Princess Jellybean character, so she can like paste the sticker on her card and promote her book to a more way. So I did the sticker for her also.
Sangamitra, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, a publisher or an author, to get you to
Mhm.
illustrate for them, do you have a website or what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, I always prefer to give them my Facebook ID, which is www.facebook.com/Sangamitra Dasgupta 2811. Uh,
2811?
yes, Sangamita Dasgupta 2811. That
And
is my Facebook ID. Or they can simply inbox me or DM me in my Instagram, which is instagram.com/creative underscore art underscore shoppy SHOPPE and then double underscore. So
okay.
they can both like DM me here on Facebook or DM me on Instagram.
And if they are looking for you on Facebook, I think we had better spell your name. It's SANGHAMITRA. Am I right so far?
Yeah.
DASGUPTA.
Yes, and then 2811. That is my date of birth and the month. 2811.
2811. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us more about your favorite thing that you've ever drawn.
My favorite thing I have drawn like way back when I did some handmade drawings on art papers, and there was a fairy, and the concept came to me from my a book of a concept art, and I took the concept from there. It was like a practice art for me, but that was my best painting till now. And I did some of the Indian mythological god, and that was not this one which I have told you earlier, that the mythological concept asked the publisher, not this one. I did a mythological god on when I was like in class 5 or 6, and I did the painting for my grandma. So that were the two most biggest paintings for me till now.
Good. And have you ever drawn anything that was exhibited in either a juried exhibition or in a place like hung in a library or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. I did some drawings, and they were like exhibited in the Galleria 2432, and they were like an exhibition in Italy, and it happened in 2017. And recently I did some cartoons, and which are going to show, and some of them I think are already been shown on art TV, and they are like the open platform or for all the artists. And recently I have submitted some of my other artworks for their international magazine also, so it will be come out soon.
Good, 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 good. And what are your plans for the future, Sangamitra?
Well, my future plans is like to do more works for all the publishers with whom I'm currently working, and to be contacted by other publishers who want to work with me. So I want to do more and more children's book illustrations for the kids and for the world.
And do you have another book coming up with Crimson Cloak? And if so, what is it?
Yeah. I am doing like 3 books right now.
Tell us about them.
One is Bunny, yeah, Bunny book. Carly ma'am has sent me, and there are two versions of the Bunny book. So book number 3 and book number 4. And then I'm doing a book of a little dinosaur, which is called Godson, and then another book which is called Jack and His Cat. So there are like almost 3 to 4 books for the Crimson Cloak right now.
Good, good, good. And what else would you like to tell us about yourself? Do you like to cook?
Well, I sometimes I like to cook, but I prefer to eat my mom's homemade food.
What is your favorite food to eat?
My favorite, I am a pure non-vegetarian, so I always try to like egg or chicken or fish.
Uh-huh. Is there a particular dish, a particular chicken dish or a fish dish that you like to
Uh,
eat?
yeah, like normal homemade chicken or like chili chicken, or in the fish, I prefer some hilsa. I hope you know the hilsa fish. It is basically a fish which actually found in the rainy season, and the taste is too much good, amazing. So
Now,
I prefer these two dishes with me right now because it is rainy season and it's like a Elsa is a mouth-watering fish.
good. And so it is rainy season now. So you're finally getting the rains that you needed. That you said it was
No,
so dry.
no. Actually, the thing is happening right now in India. Some of the states they are having too much of rain that it is like a flood situation there. But unfortunately, where I live, there is no sign of rain. Just today we had some in the morning, but still there is sign of hot and humid weather. So I think it's like an unbalancing natural condition right now we are facing.
Ah. So what are
Yeah.
you doing for water if you are in such arid conditions?
Yeah. We are trying to save more water. Like, don't like do any overflow or things. Plus, I have put some of the like social environment videos on my YouTube channel so that people can like only if one people can be like see or understand what I'm saying to them, they can like tell other people so people can like save the water and all the things, because in the south of India right now a water bottle is having a cost of 500 bucks,
Oh
so we have to
goodness.
save the water. Yeah.
And tell me one more thing, Sangamitra. Do you like to read? And if so, what do you enjoy reading?
Yeah, I love to read, and I have particular two topics. One is like comics book, and I'm a huge comic fan, and the other one is ghost stories.
Ghost stories?
Yes, ghost stories.
Uh-huh. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite author?
Yeah, I have read some of the local author, like in our community, like Bengali community, Bengali authors. I have some books, but I was like looking particularly for the book which Melissa Reidner had written, and the book has been published, Scary Ghost and Friendly Ghost. But unfortunately, it is still not available on Amazon India, and I'm waiting for the book right now because I want to read that book again.
Well, Sangamitra, I appreciate very much your coming on and being a fill in at the last minute. I see that our next guest is ready to come on, so I
Wow.
will let you go a little early and bring
Yeah.
on my next guest. Thank you very, very, very much for
Thank
helping me
you
out
so
of a
much.
tight.
Thank you so much for having me in your show. It was like a dream for me.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, Sangamitra. Again, my
Thank you
guest
so
has
much.
been Sangamitra Das Gupta, and she is a very talented artist, and you can find her on Facebook. Okay, and
Okay, bye bye.
take care. Bye bye. Okay, and now I am going to get my next guest ready. Uh, My next guest is Phyllis Ginsberg, and I'm going to bring her on in a minute. But first we have to do a commercial. So before I bring Phyllis Ginsberg on, I must do a commercial first for Crimson Cloak Publishing. What a day this has been. For Crimson Cloak Publishing, which is publishers of books for adults, books for kids, everything except erotic romance. I don't think Crimson Cloak has any cookbooks yet, but they certainly would if one good one was sent to them. You can, however, find fiction and nonfiction for kids, for adults, all kinds of good stuff. And this week we are featuring Mama's Map, which is the book that you just heard Sangamitra talking about, which is the second in a series by Cindy Goudot, who I will have on as my guest in a few weeks. And so you can buy that or any of the other Crimson Cloak books at www.crimsoncloakpublishing.com. And now I'm ready to bring on my next guest, Phyllis Ginsberg. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi, Sin. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. If I sound a little rattled, forgive me. What happened? I don't know if you were listening or not. The guest I was supposed to have on in the 2 o'clock slot bailed on me 20 minutes before airtime, and I had to scramble to get another guest in 20 minutes' time, and I got an artist, Sangamitra Dasgupta, but because she was a last-minute fill-in, I didn't have time to get a bio or questions or anything from her, and I was winging it all the way, and if I sound rattled, that's why. However, I know who you are. You're the author of 2 books, Tired and Hungry No More, Not Your Ordinary Guide to Reclaiming Your Health and Happiness, and Brain Makeover, a weekly guide to a happier, healthier, and more abundant life. You are known as the Survival to Thrival expert, and your 30 years as a marriage and family therapist and expertise in positive psychology, brain research, and EFT tapping. I've had that done to me. Give her clients an edge in making lasting, profound changes in their lives. And you're here today to talk about your new book, Tired and Hungry No More, Not Your Ordinary Guide to Reclaiming Your Health and Happiness. So, welcome, Phyllis Ginsberg.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Good. Phyllis, you're a therapist who's written a book on health. They seem like 2 different fields. Where do they intersect for you, and why did you write this book?
Wow. The book, when you look at people who have challenges, let's say they're struggling emotionally, they're having a difficult time sustaining a healthier lifestyle. They want to feel better, but they can't because they're down, depressed, anxious, or even your doctor tells you it's time for you to start doing things a little different because you've got some risk factors, or these blood results look like you're heading in a direction that's not going to be good. And what I find is there's a lot of people who have difficulties either incorporating some kind of changes in their life. You know, we are humans who really like our comfort zone. We are creatures of habit. We don't like change. We don't want to be told that we have to do something that we don't want to do. And if you don't get your brain on board first, you're going to have a tough time making those kinds of changes. And so since I'm really passionate about health and well-being, and I have a whole story of how that happened, these are two passions for me that intersect. And I decided to write this book, well, more like I was guided to write this book when I was flying home from visiting my dad after he had a stroke. And I just knew that if he had a healthier lifestyle, which I knew at his age he wasn't going to do, it could have made a difference. So there you have it.
Uh-huh. Is that what inspired you? You said you wrote the book after something happened. Is that what happened?
No, actually, going back almost 40 years, I was 19 years old and diagnosed with, well, not diagnosed, but I had a blood test, and it showed that I had super high cholesterol. And that's not normal or good for a 19-year-old. Of course, I was brought up eating meat and dairy for every meal and snack. And so, of course, I was going to have some weight issues and high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Well, when I got those results, it scared the living daylights out of me because my mom had super high cholesterol, triglycerides, arthritis, migraine headaches, got cancer. She got breast cancer at 37 years old and died within a year.
My mom had breast cancer too and died, but she was much older when that happened.
Yeah, so when I was only 15 when she died, but it left a mark, and I knew that I had to take control of my health. I had to do something different. I went to a weight loss program when I was 19, had my blood test, and fortunately, this is like the blessing, is I got on track and was able to lower my cholesterol to normal in 6 weeks by changing my diet. And here we are, almost 40 years later. My passion for health and my work as a therapist come together.
So your book is called Tired and Hungry No More, Not Your Ordinary Guide to Reclaiming Your Health and Happiness. So what's not ordinary about the book?
Oh, I love that question. Probably the first thing that's not ordinary is that it starts with getting your brain on board first. Like I said, if you can't do something that you choose to do, you want to do, you have to do, because you have this inner struggle, it's going to interfere with your ability to be successful at incorporating some kind of a healthy lifestyle, whether it's eating differently, getting more movement, getting better sleep, taking better care of your body. Those are all things that have to happen with different routines, different practices. There's got to be something that happens differently or you won't get a different result. And if you continuously have this inner struggle that you can't do something because it's foreign, it's something that is so different from what you're used to doing, and you resent it, or it clashes, then that's going to be a huge problem. So I start the book with getting your brain on board first. And also I've got 10 EFT tapping scripts. And for people who don't know what EFT tapping is, it stands for the Emotional Freedom Technique. And it will free stored emotions and help with what I call the inner struggle, those thoughts that we all have them. They get in the way of what we want to do when something is out of our comfort zone or it's foreign. And when you can do the tapping scripts, which you can easily do on your own, it's all spelled out there and guided through, and you release those stored emotions around them, you have a great chance of then shifting into possibilities and then being able to successfully do what you choose to do.
Well, I can vouch for the fact that tapping helps because I have a friend who does, among other things, tapping, and she did tapping on me for my claustrophobia, and now I can ride the elevator. I won't say I am completely free of it, but I am so much freer of it than I was. And a good thing, because these days I have to use a walker, and if I had to take the stairs, I would be in big trouble. And that I can get in the elevator comfortably and ride in it, not only at home, but if I go to a doctor's office or whatever. And it's because of tapping, so I can vouch for the fact that it does work. It does help.
It's a fantastic modality. Should be in everyone's toolbox of abilities to overcome stress, fears, phobias, anxiety. I use it daily in my practice and personally with whatever comes up.
Phyllis, people seem to be getting sicker and more overweight than ever before. What's up with that?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm not 100% sure what the reason is. But my guess is we're a society that doesn't deal with emotions. A lot of people use food to mask feelings, food, alcohol. We've got a huge obesity crisis and diabetes crisis. And there's a lot of things that changed back from the 1970s. You can track the size of portions of food, servings of portions if you go to a restaurant. Even plate sizes have gotten larger. So it's the super size, it's the jumbo. Everything is just bigger and more of it. So people are consuming a whole lot more calories. Consumption of sugar has skyrocketed to over 100 pounds of sugar per person per year on average. So people like me that don't consume a lot of sugar, there's other people having my share and consuming more than their 100 pounds of sugar a year. So we've got the society factor, and then you've got, I think, a lot of confusion. People have food cravings they don't know how to deal with. Some of it could be because they are lacking in nutrients. Other people feel really good eating carbs and sugar because it does give you like a feel-good effect in your brain. And when it's fascinating, in the last couple of months I've done tapping with, I think it was 3 different people on, they thought they had sugar cravings, but when I really got down to it, they've paired their experience of having sweet things with childhood events and memories from childhood. When you think about it, if we have this, and it is a cultural thing, at least in the U.S., if you're good, you're going to get a treat, and a treat is usually something sweet, right?
Right.
And so we're kind of conditioned to have sweets. We're conditioned to have, if you're good, you can have a donut, an ice cream, a cookie, a candy, those types of things. And so I think that there's a lot of deeper meaning why people seek out the foods they do, based on some of these kinds of messages they got early on in childhood.
So it's equating sweets with treats and with something that they can get when they're good, and it's not the actual calories or the actual sugar or the actual sweetness itself. It's what they relate to. Got it. Now, there's a lot of confusion about diets. Which one is good, which one is bad, which one is right, which one is wrong, how do you lose weight? What can you say that will help our listeners to figure out which is the right diet for them or the best diet or like that?
Well, there is a lot of confusion about what to eat now that there's paleo and keto and the the Mediterranean diet and vegetarian, vegan. There's like all these different diets, and I would say if you take a step back and look at what feels good to you to eat, what's your goal? I mean, my highest priority when I think about eating something and being on a diet, it's not dieting to lose weight, it's a lifestyle. So what's something that you can sustain? And is it the proper thing for long term? Because if you choose to eat any of these types of diets just to lose weight and you go back to your old behaviors and patterns, you're going to put the weight back on. So one of the things that I talk about in the book is to add rather than subtract whole foods, plant-based foods, real food, because that's where you're going to get vitamins, nutrients, the phytonutrients, fiber, all the things that we were designed as humans to eat. And if you choose one of these diets that eliminates nutrients to the extreme of like keto, having fats and protein, and that's all you have, I'm a little concerned for people that follow that strictly for more like a long-term plan, because what I saw when I was 19, just by eating that way for that, I'm like most of my life, but that created some severe potential consequences. If I didn't get that blood test, I'm not sure where I would be, how long it would have taken before I would have had some kind of medical problems. And so I caution people to do some homework and see what feels right to them.
Well, now it can be overwhelming with all the possible options to choose from to improve a health situation. Is there an order of importance that you would suggest?
Yes. I actually work with a lot of people that have some pretty serious health situations, like cancer. They've maybe been diagnosed or they went through treatment and they want to overcome the health situation that they found themselves in. They want a better lifestyle. And so the first thing that I would say is to get your thoughts in order, because your thoughts determine the environment that your cells are in. And what I mean by this, and epigenetics it's a field that's kind of in its infancy still. It's been around for a while, but it's not mainstream. But the science says that what happens for our genes, not everything is genetic, but our genes get turned on and turned off depending on the environment. And what creates the environment are our thoughts, because our thoughts can create the hormones that we have in our body. Which means if you're in fear, anxious, worried, anything like that, you're having those kinds of thoughts, you're going to be producing stress hormones. You might have the fight or flight response triggered. You've got cortisol and adrenaline in your body, and your body's going to be stressed. That is one environment. If your thoughts are pleasant, calm, happy, neutral, curious, anything except what I described first, which was the fear and worry, then your body's going to produce feel-good hormones like dopamine and serotonin. So if you can get the thoughts, and I'm not saying that you've got to micromanage your thoughts, but naturally get your thoughts in that direction. And this is what I help people do, is to shift from what I call survival thinking to possibility thinking. And we definitely, as humans, we're given a brain for survival, but right now survival is stressful. It's not serving us well. So that's where the tapping comes in. That's where rewiring the brain with new ways of thinking come in. It's really cutting edge science that allows us to do these miraculous things with thoughts. And then the second thing that I would highly recommend, next in order of importance, is to get enough sleep. There's some incredible research on sleep. I was just having a great time researching what's new in the field of sleep for my book, and it's recommended to get 7 hours of sleep a night. Well, over 70 million people in the U.S. have difficulty either falling asleep or staying asleep.
Yeah, I have trouble staying asleep myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of simple things that we can do in order to increase the quality of our sleep. Everything from creating a routine at night that prepares you for sleep, like dimming the lights an hour or two before, being off blue light, like your phone, your tablet, even some TVs give off too much blue light. Doing calm things, just having a routine that calms things down before bed. But what was most fascinating for me was what you do first thing in the morning can affect your sleep at night. And this is what I learned, is that if you can get some sunlight first thing in the morning, your eyes get exposure to full spectrum light. And if you don't have that kind of light because where you live is foggy or it's gloomy, there are lights that are used with light therapy that can give you that same effect. But when you have light hitting your eye, and that's not, don't look directly at the sun or the lights, you don't have to do that, but you're in the field of it, it produces serotonin. And we need serotonin during the day. There's this balance between serotonin by day and melatonin by night. So if we don't have enough serotonin during the day, we don't make enough melatonin at night to get us through. The other pieces that are simple to do, if you wake up at night, it could be because you're too warm. It's ideal, based on research, to sleep in a room that's dark and cool at a temperature of about 65 degrees. Most of us, I don't think, have a room that cold unless it's winter and we've got a window open. But I thought that was interesting. And of course, the obvious, make sure that you're not consuming too many liquids close to bedtime where you have to get up and use the bathroom.
Now, what's the connection between being tired and being hungry?
Well, that is a great question. And there's an effect that happens when you're tired. It affects your hormones. Like I talked about hormones before. So we have hormones that regulate hunger. And when you don't get adequate sleep, there was a study done in Chicago, University of Chicago, that determined that 4 nights of sleep deprivation reduced insulin sensitivity in fat cells by 30%. So what this means is that the less sensitive your cells are to insulin, the less that your body produces the hunger-regulating hormone leptin. You want leptin because leptin is the hormone that regulates your hunger. It's the one that's going to tell you if you're full or satisfied. And if you don't have enough leptin, then those signals don't work properly. At the same time, your body may produce higher levels of ghrelin, which is another biochemical that stimulates appetite. This is not what you want, because you may be experiencing food cravings even after you've eaten an adequate number of calories, leading to overeating and weight gain or difficulty losing weight.
Now, in your book, you talk about small wins. Can you tell us what small wins are?
Oh, yes. Small wins is what your brain was designed to embrace. When I think about getting your brain on board and being able to sustain something, it's usually an accumulation of small wins, such as today I went out and I walked for 20 minutes. Great. Not a huge, big deal, right? 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back, but I did it. Yay me. Okay, so then you've got these sensors in your brain that are happy. We can check it off the to-do list. I did something for me. Next day you go out, 20 minutes, small win. When you accumulate those and your brain says, oh, yes, we did it. I also noticed this effect. I started playing some games on my phone, especially when I travel. And so some of them are harder, and then every so often they give you one that's easy. And I noticed how good it feels when I accomplish an easy one. Sometimes, like for me, it even feels better when I accomplish the easy one than when I got through the difficult one. Because the difficult one, I'll say, oh, I'm glad I got that done. I'm glad I accomplished, or I was able to figure that one out. But the other one's like, oh, yeah, I got this. Yay. Easy.
So what does a small win do for you?
It actually, it triggers in the brain a positive experience. And positive psychology says that the more positive experiences that you have, you string them together, and then you begin to continue to have more positive experiences more naturally. It helps build resilience. It will build the ability to think in terms of when you have small wins, you're more hopeful. You're accomplishing something. You're moving in the direction that you want to be in. As if something feels like it's too big, too far out of your normal range of doing it, you're not going to do it. And then you've got the negative self-talk like, oh, I failed again. I can't get it together. I don't know why I can't get myself to do whatever it is. Go to the gym, eat better, sleep more, whatever that it might be. Think about New Year's resolutions. A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, I'm going to lose 20 pounds or 50 pounds, or I'm going to go to the gym every day. It's like these big, huge goals, and we don't do well with them. And that's why having small, doable things are more in sync with the way our brain functions.
How did you learn about EFT tapping?
I actually knew Dr. Roger Callahan, who pioneered tapping. We met when he was perfecting it, and when I heard the story of how he came across tapping, he was studying Chinese meridians and was working with this woman with a severe phobia to water, to where she couldn't even get her hands wet. She couldn't put them under water, so somebody had to put water on a towel for her just to wash. And he would do tapping on just one point that was a place where she felt the most anxiety and stress in her body. And they talked for about 5 minutes, and shortly after, she said, I don't have that feeling, that anxious feeling anymore. And she was able to then put her hands in his swimming pool.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Which was incredible, right? To go from having that severe phobia to being able to immerse your hands in water. And so, that it seems too good to be true, but when you actually experience it, tapping shifts things in minutes.
Well, can you explain to my listeners what tapping is, how it works, how to do it?
Oh, I would love to. So tapping is tapping on the meridian points similar to those used in acupuncture and Chinese medicine, but without needles. So there's the tapping points are on the face and the body, and the ones that I use in my book, there's a chart. My website has a chart as well. And by tapping on these meridian points, it releases stored emotions in your body. It clears the energy lines. And so you can remember a situation, like, for example, you probably can recall a time when you felt claustrophobic, but you don't have the emotional charge to it anymore. And that's what one of the probably most well-known things tapping is for, is being able to allow people to have a memory of something but not be triggered by it anymore, especially if it's a traumatic situation or something that they've had a severe phobia to.
Well, Phyllis, we've got 4 minutes left. Would you share some of the results your clients have gotten working with you?
Wow, 4 minutes. Okay, let me think.
I want to get in time to give our listeners your website, too.
Yes. Okay. More recently, I helped a woman who was, she was all over the board with her business. She had like 3 things going on. She didn't seem like she cared which she did. She only did what she had to bring in money. And when we got her clarity on what she was passionate about, she went and was able to become co-owners in a pet store because she was so passionate about dogs. And part of what she did was massage. She got trained to do dog massage, and she is loving her new life.
Great. Well, Phyllis, let me tell our listeners that your website is it starts with https //www.Phyllis Ginsberg, that's PHYLLIGNSBERG.com, and people can go there to learn more about what you're talking about on the show today, and also, I presume, to order your books there, yes?
Yes, they can find information about my books there as well.
Okay, both books are available on Amazon in paperback and for Kindle, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And they're available at anywhere books are sold, bookstores.
Okay, and through your website.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Phyllis Ginsberg, for being my guest today. And good luck with your book and with your career, with both your books, but especially the new one. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, take care. And
okay,
folks,
thanks so much for having me on.
You're welcome. And folks, remember, you can always tune in at the same time next week, every week, 2 o'clock Eastern or whatever that is in your time zone, and listen to In the Spotlight. We have interesting guests every week, even when we have somebody pull a no-show 20 minutes before the show, as happened today. Ay, 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 ay. Remember to pass a smile along. This is Cynthia McGregor, and I'll see you here next week. Bye-bye now.